Hello, this is Martin Brossman, and I want to talk about an aspect of where humans have been accurately reporting what happens for a while. And this is related to the whole program of volunteer citizens reporters. And that is in the domain of something called Skywarn. I'm an amateur radio extra, and Skywarn is an active part of the hobby where we're reporting into the weather on what we experience on the ground that gives a more accurate picture of conditions. So I'm going to go over and let you see a short clip on this where I interviewed another amateur radio operator talking about what is Skywarn. We'll be right back. Hello, this is Martin Brossman, KI4CFS, and
this is Mike Wills, WX0MIK.
Mike, I want to talk about Skywarn because I learned about that early when I got into amateur radio. I joined, I think it's about 2003, 4, and I found this world of volunteer good citizens filling in the gaps and backing up the weather system called Skywarn. So tell them about what is Skywarn and how would you describe it?
Well, there's kind of almost two forms of Skywarn, if you will. The first form is just really volunteers out. I don't want to call it storm chasing because they don't always storm chase. A lot of times they're just storm spotting. It means they're kind of in one spot, or they might move a couple spots, but they're not out there like the old Discovery Channel show where they're actually chasing and trying to hit the tornadoes. They're just out there. And what the National Weather Service calls it is ground truth. You know, we can look at a radar and we can think there's some rotation, might be a tornado. Sometimes they'll call warnings on that, but it's the people on the ground that can say, yep, that's a tornado. Radar doesn't cover underneath the clouds, which humans can see. So first form is really just that. The second form includes amateur radio into that. So now, potentially, instead of us calling directly to National Weather Service, we're checking into a net, and the net control is actually talking to National Weather Service. We're just out there focusing more so on the spotting and communicating through the radio rather than trying to find the number or reporting it through the various other channels you have for reporting. It's a little bit easier. And especially if you get some good net controls like we do in our local area, I feel really safe out there because he's out there and he is saying, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing this. Hey, guys, we have eyes on this, and probably even telling you, hey, get out of there.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Really what we're out there for is we're telling the National Weather Service what we're seeing out there. And at least our local area, they have a program where the actual National Weather Service teaches us how to look for this stuff. What's the storm development? How does that work? Really just, I don't want to call it, it's a little step beyond a basic, but it's enough to get you out there and to understand what you're doing.
Not only that, it's a great thing to understand what's going on with the weather because you'll be safer with your family. I mean, you know what are signs that you need to report in, but you also know the signs where you should be in the center area of your house as quick as possible because something can occur that will slip through the weather system, and you're a more responsible person in your family, I think, knowing this stuff, and it makes life more interesting. I look up the clouds and go, oh, that's that type of cloud. Oh, look, the front's occurring, you know?
Yep. And actually what got me really started, I mean, when I was a kid, I was really interested in weather, but I found out all this math stuff that I don't really like, so I said, whatever. I didn't realize that there's this whole storm spotter thing. But really what got me started into more when I was older here is we were out camping, and there was a big storm going by. There was a chance, or there was some tornado warnings, some straight line wind chances. And I was looking at the sky. I kind of was trying to look at radar. I had no idea what I was doing and no idea what I was looking for. And I felt, what's the word? I'm not safe, not safe for not knowing what to do, I guess. So after that, when I heard about the Skywarn program, I went and took that right away. And then you could say a kind of version of obsession, learning how to read radar, and then kind of went into more. I kind of knew how to read radar, so now I went into predicting models and so on like that. But they do go through some basics of how to read radar. It's not big learning, everything that they know, but it's just enough so you can kind of say, okay, there's probably something in this area over here, and then you can head over there to do your spotting.
One of the things that people don't realize is they might go, well, isn't the weather already covering it? And what you need to understand is if radar is going up, it could be going up at an angle and miss snow or sleet happening down here. It cannot penetrate all levels simultaneous. We don't have every grid covered. So there are holes and weather's unpredictable. And that's where the spotters are in. They aren't trained just to call in, I see a raindrop. They go, if it meets this criteria, this is worthy of notification. It's also great because all of us have a commitment of people being safe. We don't encourage people get out in the car, drive around and spot things where safety comes first. So you're learning not just how to spot it, but how to notify it and call in. And I'd love if you'd mention, like, if hail's bigger than such and such, or water bigger than that, if you'd share some of those are criterias where you want to check in and what those levels are.
So the big ones is really any size hail, because that gives them different. Sometimes it's just data that they want more so than if it's damaging. Obviously, if it's damaging hail, they want that more. Winds become difficult. They do want to know about strong winds, but most people don't have an anemometer or that measures the wind speed.
Yeah.
So they don't want you to say, "Oh, I think it's 30 miles an hour." Well, you don't really know, but you can say, "Well, there's a 1-inch branch that broke that wasn't rotten." Well, that's something that they can start measuring against. So they like to know when there's branches down of various sizes and things like that. Tornadoes, obviously, funnel clouds. They don't want to know that sometimes they want to know if there's a wall cloud, but they don't necessarily care if it's a wall cloud because they want to know if it's spinning. Because
Right.
Spinning means potential of a tornado.
Right.
Beyond that, sometimes in winter, they want to know some basic information, but people don't chase winter weather because it can be extremely dangerous, like we just had here this last weekend. Basically, they recommend no one travel, but please report your snow totals or if you're getting ice or something like that. But those are the big items. Basically, what it comes down to, anything that can potentially be, quote, severe or damaging, risking life, that kind of stuff. They're worried about things that that can save lives, and that's really where I've taken that to. I created my own page. I focus in like a one county area around my county, and I share out information as I can because I want to make sure not only my coworkers and friends and family are safe, but anyone else who may be following the page.
Yeah. In our area, they might say, please report any hail dime size or greater. So sometimes we'll hear on the AM radio, they'll give us the criteria, or more than 1 inch per hour rain, or have you checked put a ruler in the snow on your porch and how many inches since a time period. So they do,
Yep.
They want us and train us how to give accurate data. Mike, I think this would be a great thing for, I've always said, a small paper or town to train people to be accurate reporters, because I grew up in Washington, D.C., and I'm starved for accurate news, reporting what actually happened first and commentary secondary. And that's not to be any political statement. That's just, I just want to know what happened. And it's very hard to get it. But if you listen to Skywarn, those of us who have taken the class, and we'll put links below, maybe from your wiki, we'll put links below of where to learn more about it, but they teach you what is a criteria. This is something I need to report. Hopefully you get the basic idea of Skywarn, and you can see why it is an example of human beings volunteering and reporting accurate data. My plan is to support the open source free training of accurately reporting what's going on and then making it available in a public environment where everyone can see and check in and find out what's really going on, especially in a town, so they know what's happening, what's specifically happening. And it's not going through an editor's filter, but it's people well trained in how to report the news. This completes this video. Look for some resources below. Look forward to hearing your comments on what does it take to support people in becoming accurate reporters of what actually happens as volunteers. Take care. Have a great day. This is Martin Brossman.